Good morning. Welcome to All Souls, UU Church of Belleville. Today our service is through a Zoom meeting. And so this is a recording of a homily for all the folks on Facebook that can't make our Zoom meeting today. So I'd like to welcome you here. Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. Be extremely mysterious, even to the point of soundlessness. Thereby you can be the director of the opponent's fate. As we look at autumn tide, as we look at our fall time, we know that it's a time of reflection and introspection. In more mystic language, it's the time when the thinning of the veil between the now and the hereafter. It's a time when we remember our loved ones, and we see this around the world with traditions like Samhain, Navaratri, and Dia de los Muertos. We look back and we assess, we see the fall leaves, and we can't help but look around, look within. The words there were from The Art of War by the philosopher and general Sun Tzu. As we think about all of our social constructs, the shoulds and the ought tos that tell us how to separate ourselves from our beloved siblings, to think about the limitations of colorblindness or the subtle ways that one might assume heteronormative partnering, or the need to box somebody up in language with prescriptive pronouns, but also in the ways that we box ourselves up, where we get ourselves to a place where we can't receive grace from one another. We see people as too different from us, that we can't even experience love. These social constructs are political and social and religious and cultural. They're the ways that we box ourselves up when we are too uncomfortable to receive grace, to experience love. We turn the holy generosity we receive from others into some transaction. If you know that this is true, we do this. So the words of Sun Tzu, the rest of the verse. Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. Be extremely mysterious, even to the point of soundlessness. Thereby you can be the director. Thereby you can be the director. Thereby you can be the director of the opponent's fate. So it's said that victory can be made, even if the opponents are numerous, they can be made to stand down. So assess them and find their plans, both the successful ones and the failures, and incite them to action. And find the patterns of movement, the patterns of rest. He was talking about war, and the ways that deception, the ways of honesty, the ways of movement, and the ways of rest. It reminds me of a meditation practice taught to me long ago. Will you meditate with me? Close your eyes and imagine you're on the banks of a creek which cuts through a maple forest. You're safe and secure on the banks of the creek, and you're sitting on a large rock. You can feel the smoothness with your fingers. You hear the gentle sound of water flowing. You can smell the leaves. The wind blows gently and the leaves politely fall, gracefully. And they fall, there's too many of them to name, too numerous, too beautiful to capture. The leaves are yellow and orange and red and rust. And just as a thought passes through our minds, among the thoughts are the yellow and orange and red and rust. These are all thoughts. The emotions attached to them drift away on the breeze and onto the stream and down the stream. And these thoughts and these emotions are too numerous to name, too beautiful to capture. You see one and you want to name it, but you just let it be, and it floats down the creek. Will you pause with me? And you see one and you want to name it, but you just let it be. May it be so. A reading interpreted from the first chapter of Genesis. In the beginning, God, Elohim, creates. They said, let light be. They said, let sky be. They said, let earth be. Let sun and stars and moon be. Let fish and birds and livestock be. Let people be. Just let it be. Amen. The notions of our connection to the world and the politics and the strife that we see today, the disconnection and the othering that happens all too often, that just like those leaves, we require some subtleness to actually listen to our neighbors, to actually listen to our siblings, to be there in an experience that in that meditation we are both the one sitting on the rock and the trees emitting leaves, that we're the creek that it flows down, and we're the breeze that blows. And each of these are ways that we can connect to the world. And that connection is holy. So as we end this little service today, remember that despite our differences, despite all of the things that can get in the way of connection, perhaps if we just let it be, we can sit with one another and learn from one another and find peace with one another, that we can let it be. And perhaps when we let it be, we can also let beloved community emerge. Amen. Blessed be, may it be so. Peace be with all of you. I wish all of you a great week. Remember to vote and have a great week. See ya.